stretch. And the 0-1 pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on the line down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my. Edgar Martinez with a double. Whipped down the left field line, and they are going crazy at the Kingdome.
Rye Bread and Mustard, a Mariners podcast.
We have the one and only Mr. Tom Hutler. Do you have any of your favorite stories from the Kingdome?
There was a time we had an earthquake, and so they were going to evacuate the building. So I was like getting up to go leave, and they go, "No, you can't go. You got to read these safety things." It's like,
do we need to tell them that there's smoking's only on the exterior ramps?
Yeah. And Dave came shooting past. He signed off. I'm going, wait, I'm the only one here.
Listen and subscribe to Rye Bread and Mustard, a Mariners podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
What up? This is Myron, and you are listening or checking out the Rye Bread Mustard, a Mariners podcast at Down on the Decks. On the other side of the tracks, a 5-star dive bar about your AL West champion, Seattle Mariners / ALDS winners. That's right, the game is over. If you passed out somewhere in between the 13th or 14th inning, we're here to wake you up. No, this is not the 17th or 18th inning. The Mariners get it done in 15 innings. I'm coming to you live down here on Occidental, out on the patio of Pioneers Tacos and Tequilas, which is now closed. This is the latest episode we've ever done, 12:45 a.m. Pacific when we're doing this. Hanno, how's it going? How you feeling?
Good, man. Real good. You have a good time?
Yeah, we had a good time. You didn't say it to me, but you didn't need to say it to me. Grandma Norma didn't say it to me, but she pushed it pretty hard, and I know you'd agree with it. Stayed out of the stadium. Enjoyed the game here at Tacos and Tequila. There was a point where I was going to buy a ticket. The ticket prices went way down, but the Mariners had grabbed the lead, or things were going good, and I said, I'm not going to screw this up. And I'm glad I didn't, because if I was in there watching the Mariners get mowed down by Tarek Skubal, and I was in there when they missed these other opportunities in the game, when their bullpen, saved their ass and they just could not score with runners in scoring position, I know what kind of pressure and scrutiny I would be under from you, Grandma Norma, and other people. So I just stayed put.
Well, you were in sight of the stadium. Maybe that's the reason I've never seen such a bad game in my life. I mean, it was ugly. How many opportunities you had in the 10th, the 12th, the 13th, and probably the 14th, and just couldn't get it done. I mean, it was awful. And because of that, I'm just shocked that the Mariners won. I just felt at some point, after all those chances, that you don't cash in. You're not going to get another chance, and somehow you're going to lose this game. But by golly, they pulled it off.
Yeah, well, I can tell you what. I was down here at the 18-inning game, inside there. We talk about it ad nauseum here on this podcast. So, yeah, I guess I'd feel the same way. Then, I guess if we won, I'd be like, wow, that was a terrible game. but that was a team that had way less talent, especially at the plate. So you can forgive them for a little bit, or understand why they couldn't score any runs. Where you look at this team, and we talked about it, this is a almost all-star lineup, and they're not really performing like that. So it was a struggle, but let's give credit where credit's due. Talk about this pitching here that we saw. I mean, this is an absolute, just great gutty performance by everybody that's through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Scooble earlier, and the game went just how I kind of thought it would and played out just like that. And I think the Mariners did a great job. Sure, they got their ticket punched 17 or 13 times, excuse me. And, but the way George was throwing, oh my God, I mean, we could talk about it. I mean, there was definitely a thought of why are we taking him out? Sure, Carpenter's had a great success against him. He's had a great game. But also, if Dan doesn't take him out, he's going to be crucified. But, you know, that's the way it goes. I mean, that was the first blow of the game where Spire gave up that meat fastball up and, you know, middle away. And, I mean, what do they tell you? Don't throw the high fastball to Carpenter. And it happened. But, yeah, the pitching, I mean, we can talk and go over every single pitcher. There was so many dynamic things that happened that it was fantastic. That's the only reason that you won that game, and that I think Detroit sucks. So that's a big win.
Yeah, and I mean, it was absolutely nuts down here after the game. I mean, people were walking out needing a drink, especially after watching all of that. And look, this episode's not going to be very long because, again, I've been down here all day. Tacos and tequila is closed. I probably could have stayed in there and podcast, but listen, I've worked in the bar industry. You just want everybody out of there at the end of the night. So I came out here, but I do have to watch how much power I have on my phone. We're running very low. So if this episode gets cut off for some reason, that is the reason. And maybe we'll talk before this series. I mean, it's this game ending so late on a Friday. I mean, you'd figure the time it got out, you thought the game started at 7:00. The Mariners, I've missed all of the celebrating, and missed a lot of that because as soon as that run came into score and the game was over, it was just euphoria around here. And I went out here on Occidental, went down and saw our boy Chris, and also liked some music over there. You know, Pike Street drummer. I'll post some of the stuff. It was, you know, he was playing his hits. It was great. Don't Stop Believing. Earth, Wind, and Fire. September. This place was jumping. I ran into Jim Copacino and walked arm in arm with him right down here after the game in the sea of people. So, I mean, it was glorious. So I can't wait to actually get to go home and, you know, turn on Fubu Sports and go back and watch some of that stuff. But it was nice having, you know, that vibe and having the play-by-play in this game down here at Tacos and Tequila. So.
I mean, that's just another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank God we don't have to listen to that crew anymore. Just absolutely brutal. They drove me absolutely nuts. I mean, they did a fine job, but wow.
I think I'd take AJ Brzezinski out of that group. I like him. The other, Wainwright, brings nothing really to me. And it's mainly the guy on the call. He's bad. I heard him do his material. I've seen all the stuff that I've heard him do. I've heard him work his material on other radio shows. So nothing seems to be very spontaneous. Sure, he does his homework. But yes, you're right. We're going to get a step up in everything. Production, everything. There's going to be no more of these shitty starts early in the day. We're back in prime time, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Going every other day, I believe, up against the NL Division Series, so that'll be great. And yeah, you mentioned
up against NFL.
You know? Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, getting back to the pitching, I mean, just the way it was handled. Brash went in there, went two, just looked good. Munoz was probably the pitcher that was most rattling to me. He definitely didn't have his stuff that night. Tonight, in my opinion, I mean, his wipeout stuff, he did the job. He looked a little unsure of himself, but maybe that was just me recognizing his body language. And then when they showed Logan Gilbert in the pen, I was like, yeah, baby, this one's ours. Just fantastic for him. And then Bizzardo, wow. He was back onto his
Big
stuff.
game Bizzardo is
Yeah,
back.
the way he was throwing that two-seamer, that massive play when Detroit had a man on third, and he just absolutely shattered Baez's bat. And to get the force out at home after it was hit to Suarez. I mean, he was fantastic. And then Luis Castillo, he was better than I even thought he could be in this game. The questions of he's never came out of the bullpen since his rookie year or what have you. Just did his job, but just incredible by those guys. 17 Ks for the pitching staff. But Kirby, man, he was awesome.
Are you good before I go?
I'm really good. We're doing our show, and people are liking it so far. Everything. Thanks, Alex. So one of the owner proprietors of Tacos and Tequila, making sure I'm okay out here. They're like, "Are you sure you're out here on the patio?" Well, if I run out of Wi-Fi or if I get stabbed, then we'll wrap up the show. But until then, we're gonna trudge through here. Yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna say something about Polo, or not Polo, before we get to Polo. Castillo, it seemed like he didn't get his, I don't know the way, I couldn't tell if it took him a while to get warmed up, but he was brought in at the right spot. You could say everything.
Think?
And I thought they showed him before out there, and then he wasn't warming up, and then he was. I was like confused, or I don't know. There were so many innings that I'm trying to put it all together back in my head of going, or I was getting texts that Castillo was up or Castillo was coming in next. And then I saw Bizzardo was up, and then I was like, okay. And you're right, Bizzardo. Holy shit. Whatever happened in Detroit, that's long fucking gone from him. What he did tonight, we're moving forward.
Yeah, just the wipeout slider and the way that two-seamer was moving. Just an unbelievable performance in pitching. I think every game in the series, went the longest out of the bullpen guys, 2 2/3. Just fantastic. But the reason I question your talk about Castillo, they brought him in with a runner on. I was really hoping that he would get a fresh start cleaning to make it, just like any other start. So, was a non-factor, but it'll be interesting to see who they go with in Toronto. But the main thing is Wu was such a massive loss to this series. I haven't read up too much on him. I've heard a few things, but if he's going to be available for this series, that'll be fantastic. If somehow he pitches game 1, I doubt it, but what a freaking charge to this team as well. But
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm kind of jumping around, but
No,
getting
that's
back
fine.
to
We
the
all
game. So
Yeah. That was the talk here in the bar, was who the hell's starting on Sunday. There wasn't as much as a celebration. Like we did it, a slowdown, like when they clinched the West, right? They could party throughout the week into the Dodger series and kick back while we're watching these other teams. Like you said, it was a lot of fun of just kicking back. Now we're on the stress, we're back on the stress train. Anytime something big happens in any of these games, yes, and then you're back in 10 seconds later and they're like, oh God. So, I mean, everybody over here, it was just, okay, quick high fives, but it wasn't every fan in here drunk, to the casual fan, to even the doc who was down here. He was going, who's pitching? And everybody was trying to do the math and the patchwork of what's happening on Sunday. So like that is going to be something that we're going to see. But the way these guys did this tonight, maybe you might see some similarities of maybe a bullpen style game, called a bullpen game, meaning basically maybe arms on deck again, or maybe Hancock's going to be put into the act. Maybe Bryce Miller could start again because he threw less than 50 pitches or 50 pitches. So maybe you could see him get 4 innings or something like that. So yeah, that's, I guess, got to worry about that on Sunday. You could not worry about that tonight. And you can look at the offense and go, that's why. The offense, we could go down all the numbers. They're not good except for Cal Raleigh's average. JP's is all right, but he was 0 for 5 or 6 tonight, along with everybody else. Polo, even though having a batting average of under 200 in this series, has cashed in at the right times. But Eugenio Suarez has got to get it going offensively. Randy Rosarena, we're still waiting for that playoff Randy that they flashed up on the screen, was up there with Babe Ruth in the playoffs. We got to see that against Toronto because they're going to hit the ball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And with Vladdy being on such a heater and playing probably the best he's played in his career, and especially in the postseason, that's a major thing. But yeah, Rosarena was absolutely terrible. Suarez, terrible. I did like the way we scored that first run. I think that was massive. Naylor started out that game with a double, swipes third, just massive. And Garver, like I was talking to my buddy, I'm like, one of the best things he does, I feel, is hit sac flies, and he did that. So it was just a massive thing. And what'd you think about the old pinch hitter there when they pinch hit for him? Brought out Canzone, and then all of a sudden it's Rivas. I didn't really understand what was going on because I saw Canzone come out, and then he was walking back to the dugout, and I thought possibly they were just faking what's his name out, but I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Hinch wouldn't make the change, so he was announced. But I loved it. I thought that was a brilliant decision to just waste him. I mean, facing the lefty and some of his at-bats, he's had some good things, but to bring in, what do you call him, Living La Vida
I got a couple names for him. He got his new name now is Living Large Leo Rivas, but it was Living on Base Leo Rivas, upside, inside. We're living La Vida Leo. Then he was Living La Vida Leo Rivas. That's what it was. He's had a few.
I know, and
we rebrand him. We rebrand him every time he does something crazy like that or comes back to the team. And I was going to say something. Yes. AJ Hinch, you knew what Spire had to do. He didn't take care of that. We won't get into that. So people can go, oh, and even me, he fell into AJ Hinch's. This is what AJ Hinch knew he was going to do, and knew Wilson was going to do. So he did this, and blah 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 blah. And Hinch's guy won this time. In that situation, they knew they would bring in Canzone, and then they wasted Canzone. Then you never got to see Canzone, who's a power threat who can just, that guy can be hitting 200 in his last 10 or 100 in his last 10 and just erupt with a shot. He's got crazy power. And he's probably sitting down in the cage just jacking home runs on this cold night. Comes in there warm, boom, he's scared of that. AJ Hinch makes him flip over to Leo Rivas thinking, haha, got you. But he doesn't know that Leo Rivas is he's a Danny's boy. Man, he's Danny Wilson's lucky charm. How many big moments, the extra inning game, this game, Dan Wilson's first game, him and Leo Rivas have, if they were like singers, like rappers and singers, they're like Nate Dogg and getting together as like Warren G, 3 times or 4 times for some bucket platinum records. They've put together some moments.
Absolutely. I mean, I just thought it was really smart having him be the switch hitter at DH, we mentioned that at first at bat was great. And then later on, I just kept feeling, this is going to be the guy that's going to win it. He had some opportunities to come up big, but then, some of his at-bats reverted back to some things where you were like, yeah, that's why he's a bench player. But man, just no discredit to him, but that was massive to get that tying run by him.
I also wonder if you're going to see him play some second base and see Polo do some DHing. Even though Polo's done fine at second base, I just wonder if Leo Rivas is a spark that you can ride for a little bit, him getting on base. I mean, that's what you really need down there with those guys at the end of the order, is to get on base. And Leo Rivas does get on base when he's doing the right things. You're right, though. When he gets overused, just like kind of how Dylan Moore did or whatever, yes, you get a little bit exposed. But for what you're using Leo Rivas for right now, huge. But I just wonder if you'll see him get a start. Or Mitch Garver. I'm saying if there's a right-handed at bat. But the thing about Leo Rivas, too, is unless you're just not down with his hitting, he can hit from either side of the plate. So you kind of don't have to make some of those moves. And I think Dan Wilson going into this next series, all right, he did some – this is his first time, being under the microscope at the playoffs in a series against, the trickiest, dirtiest player in the game, A.J. Hitch. And he succeeded. And as far as I'm concerned with this Toronto manager, he's kind of a buffoon. Isn't this the same guy that had little to no respect for Cal Raleigh and he made him fucking pay?
Yeah, exactly. John Schneider. So yeah, I mean, people make a big deal out of these, matchups between managers and stuff like that. I don't take too much of it. It's the players who play or on the field. That's how I felt. But
I get a little bit.
But I did like how, like I said, and you mentioned that AJ knew that Dan was going to be going with Canzone and how he countered. And AJ made the switch to Carpenter, moving him up so they would have to see him early on to make a decision. So, yeah, there's things that happen. But, yeah, he did trash John Schneider. So, and Cal hit so good in Toronto. I want to talk more about this game, but I feel good about the M's going into game one. Sure, they're beat to shit. Their bullpen's tired. Their starters are tired. But these are the kind of games also that can just, keep that momentum going.
There's no Scooble. That's all I care about. I mean, once he was out of that game, we all in here were like, all right, well, if you'd have just said we were going to be one run down by the time he left the game, we'd probably all taken it.
Yeah, I mean
but we also would have thought our offense would have come through in this game. I mean, I know there's no ghost runner on second base, but it was like pretty much we had one.
Yeah, but, didn't you think that going into this game, that's kind of how you thought the game would be against Scooble?
Yeah, I did. I actually saw it, and I'll be honest, you talked me into the last episode of going, hey, it's this home crowd versus this. I'll take the home crowd and them at home. And I was like, okay, I'm with you. But, I woke up today and being down here today, and I felt 55% Scooble and the Tigers were going to win 45 of the Mariners. Obviously, I didn't want that, but that's what my, if I had to, my life is on the line, and I got to tell you the truth. That's how I felt.
Yeah, he definitely punched the tickets, and you knew he would. He's got too good of stuff, but like we mentioned last episode too, we said a key, was having some grinding at bats. We got his pitch count up. You knew when he hit that close to the century mark, he was done. He did his damage. We did just enough damage against him to, be right into the game. And, at that point, we had 9 outs to go to either win that game or tie it or lose it. And, we went to extra innings, which was totally not unexpected. There was a feeling even before the game started that this is going to be a tight one, one-run game with extra innings involved. That's just Mariner baseball.
Yeah, but I don't know how many times I just thought that, okay, you can't do that, and you can't do that. You can't leave runners like that. And especially when we're just like, I know in the regular season how many times we lived in extra innings. But, we were seeing Casey Legumina. Sometimes you were seeing Sauce. Sometimes you were seeing Jackson. Who, tonight in those spots, no, we were seeing Logan. Actually, we were seeing Walter. We were seeing Walter, and we were seeing The Rock. Because those sides of them showed up. And I know Randy Johnson coming out of the bullpen was crazy. I was there in 1995. I was there, Game 5. But I mean, I would put what Walter, or AKA Logan Gilbert, and Castillo did, and Bazardo, on the equal footing with what Randy Johnson did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Collectively.
I mean, for sure.
And yeah, but Randy Johnson didn't have a team that wasn't going to put these runs in. I jokingly, as we're just getting in here and being delirious, I'm just like, man, I wish the Kingdom was here. Like, there should have been a rule, like after like 13 innings, everybody's got to go next door, and we're finishing this up in the dome. Somebody's going to score, because the Kingdom, no lead was safe. It was like the Metro did. Where here at T-Mobile Park, man, the ball really was dying tonight. I thought there was some balls that even Detroit hit that I thought were gone. It's good. Toronto, I really do have a good feeling about the Mariners bats. This is the team we know, streaky as hell or hot as hell, and we've seen some cold as hell right now. So some hot is going to happen. I can feel it. And I hope that turns around here in this next series. And it has to. But I feel I don't know Toronto that much. Maybe I should. Maybe I should be fearing them more. But we haven't played them since the beginning of the season in April and May. And now you got a whole different team. And I don't know a lot about them. But as far as I know, is they play mistake-free baseball. Is that right? Or I don't know what all their strong points are. I guess we're going to find out here.
Yeah, I mean, #1 seed obviously had a great year. Took it to the Yankees, put pressure on them, put the ball in play. So we got to be ready for that. But man, the way our pitching staff has pitched, which is the best it has all year, we can stifle that. They have some good arms as well that we've seen before. And Gosman, we saw him in the playoffs a few years ago when we faced them. They know, like you mentioned about Cal Raleigh, they know him very well and how afraid them and their fans are of him. So yeah, it's going to be a great series, and things change and ramp up even more with it being a 7-game series. We saw how much the use out of our bullpen in the matchups were such a key in guys getting multiple looks very often against them. And, that was a big factor, and it could be even more this series. So, yeah, it just ramps up, gets bigger and better. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll do an episode, obviously, Sunday night after the game. So we'll be a little bit more versed on Toronto Blue Jays. We'll have to go through their website and get fan graphs or whatever, or just listen to the broadcast and get caught up. Like anybody else. We did have comments tonight, but because I'm on low battery, I'm not really hitting them. We had Rooftop Sports, My Oh My. We had Y2K Ha. Whenever you really need a hit, Polo is always him. Very true. Absolutely. Elon's Clit is back. Okay, hell yeah, boys. Go Seattle. Still probably the worst and the best name of any of the people that check out this podcast. But I do want to say, I think the biggest turning point in this game was possibly, I don't know if you know about this, the victory of Humpy, the salmon, actually finally won. And I was like, damn, the Mariners Entertainment, in-house entertainment was pulling out all the stops. I bet you they, just like the Mariners had a plan for their pitching staff, I bet you the in-house entertainment at T-Mobile Park had a plan to maybe bust that out if they made it to the World Series. And they were like, we got to bust it out earlier. We got to get this crowd back into this game or keeping the nerves right. They picked the right moment. Oh, I mean, what a glorious just a glorious thing to see on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the salmon race, but I had no idea who won. But, man, that's awesome. Humpy executed, and that's something the Mariners sure didn't at some big-time points throughout that game, especially in extras. So, yeah. That bunting was just absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
some of the decisions not to bunt and to bunt, I have a problem with. But in the end of the day, who cares? On to the next.
Yeah, you just got to look at that, which I think they can like slow down now for a day and breathe and learn a lot of things because there's a lot of managerial, personnel things that were in question, and definitely, without a question, execution. But except for a little bumpy patch there in game 4, the pitching has been great, so that's a good sign. That's a good strength. And if you didn't have this pitching that we're accustomed to in this series, we're already down in Cancun with Big Papi.
Yeah, you don't. You're not going to survive this next round, only scoring a few runs here and there. Sure, I fully well believe that the Mariners are going to stifle the Blue Jays lineup, so they won't be putting quite the big numbers that they did against the Yankees. So, but you got to score more, that's for sure. Guys got to get going. I like the aggressiveness at times from our team, but yeah, whole new series. It all starts over again, 0-0.
Yep. Well, my thing is down to 1% that we're running off. So, thanks for liking, subscribing, and all that shit. Right down here on Occidental, 30 years ago, down here just this week, 1995, as a young lad running around Occidental. Happy to be this whatever old piece of shit I am now down here. Going back to the ALCS, Toronto Blue Jays. Thanks again to Pioneers Tacos and Tequila. Make this your pre- and post-game destination. Located at 1021 Occidental Avenue South, right across from the event center in Lumen Field. Also, get your Rye Bread merch. You want that street cred for rocking the Rye Bread? Hit up at simply.cora on Instagram. And hey, get those last-minute post-game dogs at Al's Gourmet Sausages and the 2-for-1 hot dogs after the game. And in the Clutch apparel, get all these. I bet you they already got a Humpy shirt coming. I bet you they got a Humpy shirt coming. In the Clutch apparel, in theclutch.com. Use promo code Rye Bread and Mustard, all one word. All right, we're running out of gas literally here. Happy to be in the ALCS, but we're still going to be chewing a little ass until things are perfect, right, Anna?
I mean,
and with that,
baseball's never been perfect. I mean, if you want it, maybe, hopefully that could be the case, but you know who was pretty damn perfect tonight, though?
who?
Well, that umpire. He was fantastic behind the plate, in my opinion. He missed two kind of crucial calls, one on JP, on that 3-0 pitch. But other than that, I thought he called a fantastic game.
You know what? If you don't notice the umpire, they did a good job, and I agree with you. I didn't notice the home plate umpire. You just don't notice them, when you're just like, okay, and it doesn't. Yeah, and I didn't even think there was any makeup calls. I will agree with you on that for sure. Well,
I'm not you. Go ahead. We're done.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's cool. All right,
let's finish it up.
No, it's fine.
Right. Okay. Church. You there?
Yep.
Hello? Yeah, their internet's so bad I had to run it off of this phone, and this is dead.
Oh, okay, bummer.
So,
all right, I'm gonna try have a good night.
Yeah, all right, I'll hit you later.
All right, later.
All right, later.
Please leave your message for